Brandon Lang, good morning.
What's up, boys and girls?
Here we go.
Did you bring girls? Because we did.
NFL week number 10. By the way, I don't know what it is, Brandon, but it's funny because I've always told my wife, Playboy is for the articles, right? And then Playboy became for the articles. All of a sudden, Playboy was, they didn't do any nude photos. Somewhere along the line last spring or this spring, apparently they decided to come back to nudity, and that, now that whole thing is gone. But there is a nude photo spread in one of the Playboy magazines over the summer. They only issue six issues now. It's like July, August, and stuff like that. But one of them over the summer is a beautiful nude woman, Brandon, who's wearing a Harley-Davidson of Utica tank top. I thought that was quite interesting. And it clearly is not, the photos aren't taken in Utica. I see almost like desert hills and sand. And But, yeah.
It's Delta Lake.
Well, listen, since we're sharing gut level. Playboy did used to have some pretty good jokes, but nobody had better jokes in their magazine than Hustler.
Okay.
I was more of a Penthouse guy than a Playboy guy because I have, obviously, a boot fetish, and Penthouse used to always have girls wearing boots in their layouts. So
you are laying it all out here.
I was at. So.
Boot fetishes and all here today. Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you, though, Hustler, just putrid. I mean, there were things in that magazine that that I've ever...
Larry Flint took it to a whole different level. I've met... Yeah. My buddy was Larry Flint's casino host at the Las Vegas Hilton, and I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Sear is still Flint's casino host. And meeting him, and he's a couple beers short of a six-pack, and his elevator stops at about the 12th floor and ain't getting all the way to the top. So
well, I will say, though...
Clear on that, we can move from there. But he's a very interesting character. And I've met a lot of interesting people in my life. Larry Flint's in the top 5.
Very, very political. Very, very. He's argued in front of the Supreme Court. So interesting. Anyway, I found it interesting that there's a tank top of the girls wearing a Utica, New York Harley Davidson of Utica, New York T-shirt. I wonder if anybody knows how that happened.
I think there's probably a very good chance that she is from Utica.
I couldn't find that out. I did some digging, and, it was one of the best investigations I've done in a long time. But I wasn't able to find it. So, all right, let's go week number 9. You care about tonight's game? Seattle at Arizona.
Don't know what I'm doing. I know it's a road-dominated series. Seattle, the road teams covered, I think, 6 of the last 7. Seattle's covered the last 5 in Arizona. Don't know yet. I'm going for 5 straight winning weeks on the website. So this is one of the better streaks I've been on since doing your radio show. So don't know if I'm doing that or I'm going to the Mighty Mac yet. You're getting me early. It's funny, 5-3 Seattle laying close to 6 to 4-4 Arizona. Like what I saw from Drew Stanton last week in Frisco. I always thought he was a better fit than the aging Carson Palmer, so I might lean toward the dog, but glad I got about 2 more hours before I got to pull the trigger.
All right, how about let's go with the Bills hosting New Orleans, 1 o'clock on Sunday.
I'm watching the bozos on Showtime's Inside the NFL. Boomer Esiason, Saints, Phil Simms, Saints, Ray Lewis, Saints, Mark Wahlberg, Saints, and these are the same guys that took Buffalo over the Jets when I had the Jets last week on Thursday. So you're never as bad as you look. I think Buffalo at home, undefeated this year, catching 3.5. I like the Bills plus the points.
I can't believe it's only 3.5 though. The Saints have been so hot. I know it's in Buffalo, and I like Buffalo because the Saints are a much better team on turf. But so to be playing outside, to be cold in the Northeast, I do like the Bills, but I'm surprised that's only 3.5.
Well, it's funny. It's easy to jump on a bandwagon of a football team, but if you look at the offenses that the Saints team has played, it's easy for people to look past who they've played. Minnesota challenged offensively. Patriots put up 36 on them. Impressive win at Carolina, who's had some red zone difficulties. They played the Dolphins, the Lions, the Packers without Aaron Rodgers, Chicago, and Tampa Bay. So if you break that down, they've had the easiest run in their schedule. They're about to get into the meat and potatoes of it all when they got to play Buffalo, then home against Washington, then out against the Rams, and then Carolina and Atlanta. So when the smoke clears, I still don't think the Saints are as good as everybody thinks they are, and I believe they're going into a gauntlet, which is, I think Buffalo is one of the top 3 hardest places to play. Buffalo's going to win that game outright. All
right, the Jets. Jets at Tampa Bay. Jets playing some decent football.
Sure are. In Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston, that team. Word out of Tampa Bay is Cutter's losing that football team. Jets are 2.5. Not a big proponent on laying chalk with the Jets, but based on what I'm seeing, no quit whatsoever. Tampa, no defense. I'm inclined to lay it with the Jets. But again, you know me, I'm not a road favorite guy. I'm a dog guy. But I think the Jets are the right side.
Giants. Ooh, you want to?
Well, the 49ers, though. The 0-9 49ers.
Okay.
I think we got a chance.
Maybe that makes there's excitement here.
No shot whatsoever. Jimmy Garoppolo making his first start for the Niners. It will be a victory. Take the Niners plus 2.5. I'm calling for the Giants to go to 1-8. They've quit. Embarrassing at home last week against the Rams, and now with your season over, McAdoo's lost the locker room. Yep. People quitting, walking out. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired by the end of the year, but I like the Niners plus 2.5.
I will say I've been saying this all year, and even last year when they were 11-5. I cannot stand Ben McAdoo as the head coach. I didn't mind him as a coordinator. Hate what he does as a head coach. Quickly, can I ask you about the Jerry Jones situation? This is a coup, right? This is a coup. He's trying to overthrow the commissioner,
is it over
and he's fighting the other owners.
Is it over the anthem thing?
Well, that's one of the reasons. The Ezekiel Elliott suspension he has objected to the whole way. That's why it's continuing to be in a court battle. And then he also thinks, and I think he's right here, is that Goodell should have figured out this anthem thing a long time ago, and it's costing them money.
It goes back further than that with Jerry Jones. He felt, and again, these are my sources, I have some pretty good sources in Dallas, that he felt the whole handling of the Ray Rice situation was wrong, and a lot of other things that he's done, the concussion protocol and how he tried to sweep that underneath the carpet. It's just been a very strained tenure for this man, and so where's Paul Tagliabue when you need him? I mean, it's unbelievable that now Jerry Jones is just unhappy with the overall body of work of Mr. Goodell, and I think deep down in places talk about at Party, Jerry, this next commissioner, is going to be forced to make a strong point, like Adam Silver, to legalize sports betting because of the sheer money involved. And so there's a number of issues. Goodell's on the hot seat, and I'll be honest with you, with the power of Jerry Jones and the other, Jerry Jones is the one that's leading the charge. But behind the scenes, he's got the power of the owners behind him. This is going to get very serious. I personally feel that they're going to get Goodell out. Remember, the owners employ Roger Goodell. And you got 32 billionaires that he works for, and a couple of them are upset. That's all it takes. And so this is going to be interesting. But I called it when Jerry Jones finally started grumbling about this. I went on another radio show and said, this is the one owner that has the power to get everybody on board and get this man out and get the kind of guy they want in there. So it finally – I don't like Roger Goodell. I don't. I think he's the biggest hypocrite on the face of the planet Earth. And to turn your head to gambling – Scott Van Pelt's Bad Beats on Monday night that he does, the segment at 12 o'clock, is unbelievable, but it's ironic that he can only really do college because the NFL will not give him the rights to do the pros. So, again, hypocritical. I'm glad this is happening. And I'm really upset more, guys, with the concussion protocol and how comical that was with the staff that he hired and what he tried to do to turn his head with it. Again, about time, and I'm happy about this.
Kathy with a quick question for Brandon Lang. By the way, it's BrandonLang.com. Before you do any extracurricular, betting, you want to go to Brandon's website, BrandonLang.com. Kathy, go ahead. You have a question. You're on.
Yes, Brandon, I was wondering, everybody's saying how good Wisconsin is, but do you think Michigan State can pull off a win against Ohio State and take on Wisconsin in the playoffs?
If the game were at Michigan State, I would say yes. Having to go down into Columbus with Urban Meyer coming off a loss, I just think it's too tough a spot, especially emotionally, off the big home win against Penn State, tough spot. I have nephews and nieces that went to Michigan State. I love Tom Izzo. My buddy's kid plays basketball at Michigan State. I like him. But this is as tough a spot as D'Antoni will have his team to go to. I just don't think it can be done. I think Wisconsin's going to go undefeated. I don't know what's going to happen in the Big Ten championship game, but they are in the catbird seat here of possibly getting into that Final Four based on how things have fallen.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right. Kathy's always...
Talked to her before. We should make her a constant addition to the program.
She should.
loves Michigan State.
She's a Michigan
Question of the day
State.
every week.
Yeah, it would all be about Michigan State. But cool, Kathy in Rome. So, Kathy, thank you for that. All right, Brandon, interesting as we go into week number 10. Again, it's BrandonLang.com. Check it out.
Next week, I got to ask you about Thursday Night Football because I'm hearing they're going to get rid of it, but we're out of time.
And I don't want to extend this because we are out of time, but you were in the movies. The movie that was made about Brandon Lang, Two for the Money. Have you ever come across a grabby Kevin Spacey in your career?
Met him once. It was very nice to me. I think I didn't give off any gaydar vibe, or he probably would have tried to, because I've, not to get crazy, but I have a big bubble butt, and I've had plenty of gay men try to pick me up. Kevin wasn't one of them.
Was not one of them.
So
Okay.
I got away from that free and clear.
Okay. Brandon, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, guys.
Terrible, this Kevin Spacey thing. It's just, and it's getting worse. They're coming out of the woodwork.